Powers. Love them or hate them, they're a core part of the BTD franchise. Each power provides their own unique ability that varies from godly to downright trash. So today we're going to rank them based on their price, in-game utility, along with their interactions with events and monkey knowledge. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Up first we have road spikes. They are a simple power that allows you to summon a pile of red hot spikes anywhere on the track. While its main use is to catch stray balloons, it can damage any balloon type, so they can be used to deal with pesky camos before you purchase some form of camo detection. On top of that, the pre-game prep MK gives you a free spike pile at every track exit. The number of spike piles scale with the number of exits, which can be a lifesaver on harder maps. Looking at its cost, road spikes are about average at 50 monkey money per charge. But each purchase gives you 5 piles, which effectively makes it the cheapest power in the game. And when 1 to 2 stacks are more than enough for most games, road spikes makes 50 monkey money go a long way, even if you're rich. While the base power is decent by itself, it's a part of some of the best monkey knowledge in the game, so it belongs in S tier. Moving to Super Monkey Storm, it's a simple wave clear ability that deals tons of damage to all balloons on screen. At launch it dealt 2000 damage, but only recently its base and monkey knowledge damage got buffed to deal a total of 5000 damage. To put that in perspective, a ZOMG with no modifiers has 4000 health, so this buff essentially made its damage relevant during late game. Just bear in mind that the damage doesn't seep through mob layers, so you have to deal with the children. Even before the buff, Super Monkey Storm was a relatively strong power for CT and Odysseys, since they can quickly dispose of hard waves without spending in-game money or tiers. But with the damage being a fixed value, Moab HP scaling makes Super Monkey Storm nearly useless in free play. While I was recently going to rank Super Monkey Storm in B tier, the recent buffs made it more useful during late game, so it goes up to A tier. Moving to Monkey Boost, it's a power that doubles the attack speed of all monkeys on screen for 15 seconds. For most standard games, it's used like the Super Monkey Storm to clear tough waves, but the most notable difference is that the effectiveness of the boost scales with the strength of your monkeys. Hence it's rather weak during the early game, but it scales to be extremely powerful during free play. While being very close to Super Monkey Storm in both price and late game performance, Monkey Boost isn't useless during free play, and it has a lot more versatility for adding extra DPS to your setup. However, it just falls short compared to another power on this list, so it's going into high A tier. Up next we have Camo Trap, which is another track-based power that can decamo up to 600 balloons that pass over it. As I've mentioned in my last tier list, it's decent enough to decamo most balloons until the end of round 78, which is more than enough time to afford proper camo detection. However, camo detection is extremely easy to come by in non-event game modes, and road spikes mostly replace its early game utility at a much smaller cost. While they recently got buffed to give 2 per purchase, Camo Trap belongs in B tier. Moving to Glue Trap, it's yet another track-based power that glues all small balloons that pass over it. It's essentially Geraldo's tube of glue, but it has a lot more pierce, and can glue more class balloons with just monkey knowledge instead of leveling. While this power does see some use in CT, beyond that it isn't really that useful, because glue gunners are in a really good spot balance-wise, and Geraldo's tube of glue does everything it does without costing monkey money. So unfortunately, it belongs all the way down in C tier. Moab Might was probably the biggest winner of this update, because its base damage was overhauled from a measly 400 to a little over 6,000 with monkey knowledge. And on top of that, it gained the ability to re-hit the same balloon or its children with a short 1 second cooldown. This flipped Moab Mine on its head from being a gimmicky Moab tickler to a strong single target DPS. Like Super Monkey Storm, its damage is enough to pop the outer layer of ZOMGs, but thanks to its re-hitting mechanic, a couple of mines can make short work of high health waves like 97 and 100. They can also come in handy during Odysseys to deal with bullshit modifiers such as round 40 DDTs. But like most powers on this list, its damage is negligible late game due to the sheer volume of Moab class balloons. While Moab Mine is mostly a step down from road spikes, It's still useful in buying some time with minimal mob DPS, so it belongs in low A tier. Meanwhile, Time Stop acts as an inverse monkey boost, slowing everything on the screen except paragons and ability cooldowns. How it worked originally was that most balloons were slowed to 10% of their current speed, while bads, bosses, and regular monkeys were slowed to 30% of their current speed. But recently, Time Stop got buffed, so regular monkeys attack at 60% of their current speed instead of 30%. Hence, with some simple ratios, regular monkeys now attack twice as fast relative to the speed of bads and bosses, which, as you might have noticed, is the same rate provided by Monkey Boost. Sure, it's a little more nuanced than that when talking about specific monkeys, but remember, it costs half as much as a Monkey Boost, and nothing is stopping you from using both at the same time. While it does have a shorter duration than Monkey Boost, Time Stop crams a lot of cool tech in one package, so it's well deserving of S tier. Now, Portable Lake allows the placement of water monkeys on any section of land. The pool has enough space to fit 4 water monkeys if you place them right. And with monkey knowledge, they're $40 a piece, which isn't too bad at all. This can be great for getting extra monkeys on the field for a paragon, or expanding your boat farming setup. But with most maps having at least one viable water source, and the recent introduction of the top path mer monkey, it's not a must-have for standard play unless you really want water monkeys on a map with no water, so it slides into B tier. Meanwhile, Pontoon is the inverse of the Portable Lake, allowing land monkeys to be placed on a small portion of water. Although it shares the same utility as the lake, most maps aren't dominated by water, so in most cases it's useless beyond a few fringe scenarios. Even then, a middle path ice monkey does the job better, while not costing monkey money in the process. So unfortunately, it's going in C tier. Moving to Cash Drop, it spawns a massive supply crate that grants $2,500 when collected. I probably don't need to explain how an instant cash drop solves a lot of problems, but it comes at a relatively high price tag, even with MK, and the IRS halves its effectiveness in half cash. Even with those downsides, Cash Drop is still worthy of S tier due to how universally useful cash is for any setup. Next, we have Thrive. It's another income boosting power that increases the cash gained from pops and production by 25%. It expires at the end of the round after you used it, so at best it's active for 2 rounds. While Thrive is cheaper and has the potential to produce more money than Cash Drop, it's not as versatile since it requires a good farming setup to be effective, so it belongs in B tier. Taking a sidestep to Energizing Totem, it summons this thingamajig that gives a 25% attack speed boost to everything in its range. While it appears like a monkey boost at home, the totem lasts for 5 whole rounds, which topples the boost merely 20 seconds. On top of that, it doesn't delete itself after it expires. Instead, it just deactivates and asks for 20 monkey money to recharge it for another 5 rounds. And given a totem costs 4 times as much, you really want to use that feature. Although the totem can be useful regardless of what round you are on, it's not the best idea to drop it early to mid-game, since rounds are rather short. But the buff is invaluable for freeplay runs due to how long each round can go for. But taking all things into account, Energizing Totem is about the same power level as Monkey Boost, so it belongs right next to it in A tier. Up next we have the Lord and Saviour himself, the Banana Farmer. Unlike most powers, this guy doesn't provide any offensive utility. Instead, they pick up collectibles such as bananas, crates, and balloon traps. They already have a fairly large range, but they can be boosted with external buffs, monkey knowledge, and bugs. Never mind, that got fixed. The only downside of the farmer is that they are banned in Odysseys and CT. But is that really a drawback? No, not really. So for the convenience they provide for just 50 monkey money, Banana Farmer is well deserving of S tier. On a similar note, TechBot is another utility power that automatically activates the abilities of another monkey. Obviously, this can have some mixed results on monkeys with DPS abilities, but its utility is invaluable for support and eco abilities. TechBot also has a monkey knowledge point, which adds the ambush targeting option. When this mode is active, The tech bot only activates the ability if bloons get past the selected point on the track. While it sounds good on paper, it's more of a gimmicky panic button, and it doesn't work on reverse mode since bloons enter through the exit. Although it shares some overlap with the banana farmer, tech bots aren't banned in CT and Odysseys, but the former only grants one with its relic, and the latter is too short to justify using it. Beyond that, TechBot is an excellent utility power that can save you from doing shedloads of ability micro, so it belongs in S tier. Now I know it's debatable if insta-monkeys are considered a power, or their own thing, but I'll most likely get a swarm of comments if I don't mention them, so fuck it. Unlike standard powers, they allow you to spawn any monkey for free, provided you have the proper insta-monkey on hand. While their power can vary from a bootleg free dart monkey to Batman, insta-monkeys are extremely versatile and a lifesaver on half cash, so it would be criminal to put them outside of S tier. And finally, we have the recently released Battle Cat. Look, it's hard to give this power a rank since it's only been in the game for a few days, but with what I've been playing with so far, it's rather underwhelming. The base cat surprisingly has a lot of pierce, but its attack speed leaves a lot to be desired when it struggles with space green bloons. And the transformed Battle Cat is essentially a bloon crush at home, but it trades away ceramic stalling with debuffing capabilities. While I'm okay with the base power of the Battle Cat, the 3-round countdown before it leaves the map is just absolutely painful for something that you have to pay for. Well, in large amounts. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate that Ninja Kiwi had created promotional art, a whole quest, and given us 3 for free, but in its current state, I have to chuck Battle Cat down into C tier. Now, did I miss anything? Thank God. As I mentioned in my community post, the last update nuked a lot of the powers on this list, because who would have guessed Ninja Kiwi wanted to rework half their goddamn powers? Bloody hell. As I normally say, if you like what you see here, make sure you check out my previous video where I talk about the Ice Monkey. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.